Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? So, I'm getting into the live streaming game of podcasting on YouTube, and it's actually kind of been fun. I'm liking it. And if you like video podcasts, then I would head over to Josh Bolton Show for YouTube. It's my logo and everything. And you can actually see the video live and comment, and you can even see it a week before I publish on the podcast feed. So if you feel so inclined and hardcore, you could actually get a double dose. But then that's pretty much it. Let's get into the show.
Welcome to the Josh Bolton Show, where we dive into interesting and inspiring conversations. And now, your host, Josh Bolton.
I love it. And if there's something that I say that you want to call bullshit on,
Feel free.
Call bullshit, because I can back all of it up, right? I can seriously. Some people are too polite, and they go like it didn't, strike them funny, but they don't say it. They don't want to put me on the spot. Fucking put me on the spot. I can back all of it up.
Perfect, Andre. I will definitely do that. It's actually already running. Do you just want to give yourself an introduction?
Sure. So my name is Andre Paradis. I'm a relationship coach. I'm an NLP coach, neuro-linguistic programming. I'm an educator of effective communication strategies. That's a big part of my work. In every relationship you have every relationship you have requires communications, whether it's work related, relationship related, like love relationship, parent child, employer employee, right? So and there's such a big pace on communication for people. Like we hear about this all the time. It's all about communication. But often we think we're communicating and we're not.
Right.
Or right, and the simple, in my world, it's simple. If you are using words but you're not getting the results, you're not communicating. Even if you think you're using the right words, like if it's not, you don't get the results, right? So there's a magic in that.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I'm also I'm a workshops leader and a public speaker. I'm also an ordained minister. So I work, my favorite thing to do is help men and women with a dance of relationship. Men, women, but women, by the way, it's the same exact thing. It's not a gender thing. It's a relating thing. But, for some of my clients, after working with them, helping them or putting them together, I get to marry them. So,
hey, you get both ends of the pie.
That's the greatest honor, by the way, the greatest honor. Just like unbelievable to be that guy. Do you think this man? You think, man, oh man. So
yeah, you help the man or the woman get the confidence to talk to the other person. They get together, then you get the constant updates too throughout it. So yeah, that is a great honor.
It's some stuff. Give me 1 second. I just want. Is that okay? Can I?
It's all good.
Just because it's going to keep interrupting us. Okay. So sorry.
So where are you at?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, sweet. Me too.
You are? Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost too close for.
Yeah. You're almost like a neighbor.
Where are you exactly?
Do you know where Claremont, California is?
Yeah, Claremont, of course.
Yeah, but I'm around there.
Got it. I'm in Woodland Hills.
Oh, okay.
I know.
The more fancy part of California.
A little bit.
I was actually listening to some of your episodes. So you're a dancer too. Are you still dancing?
Yeah, no, I teach, occasionally now. That I used to do for a living, but me and my wife will teach the occasional salsa class for fun a little bit, but more so that's actually integrating that into my workshops.
Okay.
The metaphor for dancing, look behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 da. That's me and my wife.
That's a gorgeous one.
Thank you. But the metaphor for dancing and love relationships are incredible. Like they just completely merge together. So I will use dancing in live workshops to get to people understand the dynamic of being in partnership.
That's cool.
So I could put a guy and a man and a woman in each other's arms, and within seconds I know who's who doing what and how and what's not working. Like it's like in a second. Yeah. If he has low confidence, he can't lead her. And if she doesn't lead, then she has to take it. That's instinctual, right? And then even some women who like to lead resent having to lead all the time. So it's fascinating. It happens like instantly. So,
oh yeah, I do martial arts, and that's the biggest one for me. I can tell who you are within like 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
I know if you're in.
Go ahead.
I would say it's just like when we always joke like to know a martial artist, I only need like 30 seconds with you, and I know you're dominant, you're submissive, you're an adaptive, and what style you are, and it's where we joke in our studio. It's like because I'm very high in the ranks now. I joked with my instructor. I'm like, there's not many I can fight anymore that actually give me a challenge. Can I fight you? And he's like, that's a very intimate thing for martial artists. I'm like, yes, it is. Never mind.
It's true. It's true. But, you know, what I see a lot that people don't realize in our culture is the idea of equality. Do you know what I mean? Of like equal rights, equal pay, equal opportunity. Of course, that's the,
right.
You know,
easy.
except what happened is it transgressed and transferred and got translated into equal beings. You know, that a man should be more, if a man is more like a woman, sweet, sensitive, talkative, vulnerable, that makes him a better man nowadays. And if you don't turn into that, you won't be valuable. No girl's going to want to date you. No, right? And if the women are more like masculine, strong, independent, powerful, manly, you know, competitive, that makes them a better woman. Well, for business, maybe, but in love dynamics, absolutely not. So equality for money in business, career, sure. Equality in relationship is a kiss of death. This is all I do all day long. It's the kiss of death that destroys everything. So nobody learns to dance anymore like this, you know, and they don't know, they wonder why it's not working. They won't get into partnership. They go into competition.
Yeah. I was actually, it's funny, like a week ago, I was trying to my hand at the online dating thing, and you being in SoCal, you would understand this. Women lately just seemed like they want like the Robert Downey Jr. six-pack abs, money, and they're completely submissive, but at the same time, they'll be their daddy and tell them what to do. But there's that weird dynamic that they don't even know which one they want.
Yeah, again, that's just like when you dismantle nature. Everything I teach is not my opinion. It's nature and science.
Right.
When you dismantle, you go against nature, it creates a bunch of problems, you know, and that's what's happening in our culture. To neutralize, to make women more masculine isn't good in a relationship. To make men more feminine in a relationship doesn't make them better. Man doesn't work in relationships at all. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, you know, we could go against the fact that, you know, stereotypes are just so old school. Well, that's called nature, right? There is such a thing. There's a sweet spot in the middle, right? We're not necessarily talking about extremes, but a man who is a man is a lot better to himself and anybody around him when he handles his life, handles his stuff, he builds his character, has a sense of purpose. You know what I mean? And wants to. That makes him, when he conquers his fears and, you know, has a mission in life, he builds something that those are the guys who actually want to take on women and children. Yes. The guys who don't. And women are like, you know, where are the good men? Well, you like the, you know, they like the six-pack, you know, handsome, you know, douchebag who doesn't have to do anything to get laid. Well, that's what you get. You get a beautiful girl with a penis, and you end up, you know, doing all the work. Well, congratulations. That's so now men are acting more like women, you know, and they're like sexually attractive, right? And women pay for them. We'll flip the script. Congratulations. It's not working, right? So again, in the name of equality, it's just we flip the script too much.
So, oh yeah, and it really is. And it's one of those, you mentioned it actually in a show. I was listening to you earlier today. I'm like, I want to see what this Andre guy is. And you mentioned how the dynamics in a relationship have gone. You mentioned like the boyfriend that pretty much makes the girlfriend a mom.
Yep.
So this is the one there's a relationship. She doesn't listen to the show, so I don't really care. She can yell at me later. She has this like beyond dickmatized obsession with this one guy, and she keeps hitting me up. Well, she's taken a very alpha, very male approach. Like, I want to do this, but I want a relationship, I want a family. Let's get a house. I kept telling her, I'm like, the dude is no commitment. We are just literally having sex, and that is it to him.
Yeah.
And you're coming in with the whole commitment, kids, this. you're scaring him beyond belief. And now he's like blocking her. I said, yeah, you seem like the crazy cat lady that suddenly decided that you're just going to jump his pants, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. And you take charge and you wonder why he wants to get away from you as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You're only good for one thing.
And that's what I told her. I'm like, that's you literally built the relationship that way. You never talked about
this is somebody you know, is that what you say?
Yeah, coworker at a different. There's multiple stores I go to. She works at a different one.
Got it. You know, and then that's a cultural pulse, right? Would make women strong, independent, and powerful. That's fantastic for money, but they get in relationships or expect men to do it their way. It's a very interesting thing. They're so, you know, you go girl, and you know, just got to go get yours, and you know, you decide, you know, you don't compromise, and you don't take a shit, and that's all manly as hell, right? And then
it is
manly as hell, and then you think that any man is going to respond to that? Are you out of your mind? Right? The boys will bend over because you're so strong, independent, and powerful. The boys, in my world, there's three kinds of men. Having a penis does not mean you're dealing with a man. And our culture has made a really good point in destroying a whole lot of men to turn them into boys. Not their fault. Culturally, you know. But there's men, guys, and boys. Men are men. They know who they are. They build their character. They're solid. They're the rock. You know, they won't take your shit. Like, what I mean by that is like, you can't play games with them. They'll just walk away from you. If you pushy, strong, you know, it cracks me up when women say it out loud. Makes me vomit in my mouth every time. You know, I'm too strong. You know, I intimidate men. I go, get over yourself, right? Like you may intimidate boys. You're just irritating to men.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking irritating to men, if I want to say, right? Like, so women who are masculine like this in the name of go girl, that's fantastic for business. I'm not saying, right?
Right.
But don't throw that on a man in a relationship. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. So men don't acknowledge you. Men don't see you. Men don't even say hi to you when you're masculine like this. But boys who see your strength and your money and you're going to handle everything are just like so happy to, you know, seduce you with their prettiness and their sweetness and their vulnerability. As they encourage you, the boys are also feminists, right? You go girl, you go get some. I'm so proud of you for that promotion. You work your 2 jobs, you know, paying for the apartment while he's on the couch, smoking a joint, spooning the dog, and writing his music. You know, like he's a kept girl, you know, with a penis.
Yeah.
So we flip the script and wonder why women are burnt out, frustrated, and hate the guy because those guys will just take advantage of you so much in the name of life is hard, and you know you have to lend him money because he's broke, and you know he's moving to your house because his landlord's a douche, and he quit his job because his boss is, you know, is an asshole. If not one man cares about that if the job provides what it needs to or a way to a better future, right? Men don't give a shit how they feel about their boss, right? They'll avoid the guy, but there's no reason to quit. That doesn't make sense,
right?
And next thing you know, he's driving your car because he can't fix this piece of shit. And ladies, get the hell, wake up, right? Like, these are not men. But if you think that's men, and if you're masculine, you only attract those men, and your life is hell. And you think you blame man, and this way toxic masculinity showed up, and you can't trust them. They're cheaters. No, that's boys. That's not men.
Right.
That's boys. So the more masculine we raise women, the more feminine men they attract, and they're that doesn't make for a good life. That makes for a torturous life with men, while the actual men find themselves sweet women who respect them, and you know they actually can negotiate and, you know, build something with. Totally different.
100%. It's funny. I actually had a guest on, one of my first guests, and I was just talking to one of a friend about it. Her name's the show is called Heyoka Empath and Earth Boy. And she's a bodybuilder, Canadian, this and that. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, bodybuilder, it's a very masculine thing, but hey, each have their own thing.
Yep.
She came in and steamrolled the shit out of me. And it was just one of those, she's like, why can't you just, like, if you're single, you got to do this. And if you want a woman, you take her, no questions asked. You grab her by the pussy. And I'm like,
whoa,
that's going to be really hard to pull off in LA. Maybe it works in Canada, but it does not work here.
No, I'm Canadian. It doesn't work in Canada either.
There we go.
It just doesn't. But like, grab her by the pussy, isn't that like the most offensive thing?
Yeah.
That's just what a man would say this, and people would lose their freaking mind.
Oh yeah.
right? But a girl could say it, you know, in the name of like mothering you, like telling you how to do it, what to do. Like, it's so bizarre.
And it was just one of those. I was telling her after I only got like 3 questions in with her afterwards, and I turned it all off. I said, she's like, well, what'd you think? I'm like, honestly, you're like raging more testosterone than I ever could right now. I'm like, it's just one of those, you seem like a man with a really aggressive clitoris, essentially.
Yep. That's what I say, right? Having having a penis doesn't make a man, and having a vagina doesn't mean you have a woman in front of you, right? You could flip the script on this whole thing and be righteous about it, and, you know, literally push everybody away from you.
Yeah.
Way to go.
So with all that, how did you go about, how do you recommend your clients to go about dating? Online, go talk to the coffee shop lady?
Oh, good luck. We could open that can of worm, right? But I'm going to say this out, you know, straight up. People think I'm crazy when I say this, and they come right back to me and go, yeah, you were right. 6 months later, right? I say, if you're a woman looking for relationships, with most women naturally, it's natural to be in relationships. There's a lot of data on this. Both men and women are happier when they're in relationships. Even people who have money, who are successful in life, don't feel successful in life if their relationships don't work. So there's a primary human element here that's essential. So women are looking for men to support them, make them feel safe, you know, be part of their lives, because feeling a good relationship makes them happier. Money does not make women happier. It gives them a feeling of safety, but does not make them happy. Just look around, right? And men need women, you know, to give them a sense of purpose in life as well, right? To work anyway. So we could go back into the work dynamic, and, you know, but and the dance. But I say this to women who are online with 16 different apps looking for the same guy that everybody else is looking for. You know, tall, dark, handsome, 6-pack, BMW driving, funny sense of humor, provides pretext for her, thinks she's funny, but, you know, understands that, you know, she demands all of his time and, you know, his focus, and he has to like her mother, and
he has to be able to talk to her on Sunday without being gay, but it's borderline
all
gay
that
too.
shit, right? So like ridiculous, right? This unicorn that you painted in your head, that is what every woman on you know, on these apps are looking for. This unicorn, perfect guy who's also sensitive, it talks a lot, you know, but make sure it respects the fact that you're busy, then, you know, you're gonna have to be independent. Oh man, get the hell out of here. So I'm saying this that men, real men, actual men, good men, the ones who do everything, you know, to build their character, are not online. Men are not on dating apps. Boys are. Cheaters are. Men that were married looking for affairs are. Manipulators are. Computer geeks are, who, you know, have no mojo, can't talk to women, like do it like behind the screen. Like, that's the saying. Like, so boys are online. Men do not go online. Men went online, and again, it's the work that I do. Through COVID in the beginning of this crap, you know, like this seemed to make sense. So men went online in the beginning of COVID thinking, I can't really go anywhere, right? So let's look what's out there, because it makes sense, right? The numbers,
right?
Thousands of women just that, you know, on your computer, except everyone that is a man within 2 to 4 months come back with fuck that shit. What a fucking mess that is. And they go explain, and they're all a version of this. They go, well, first of all, I don't know if the picture is real. I went out with 2 that looked nothing like the fucking pictures.
I've had those.
Right? And then so he goes, so that's bullshit. That talk about offensive. What do you think? I was gonna notice that your picture was 10 years younger and you were like 40 pounds like lighter? Like, so like, what about disrespectful as hell? And he goes, I can't tell who anybody is. The profiles are all the same. I'm a lovely woman. My friend describes me as loving, caring. I love the beach, the movies, and traveling. My dog is my best friend. They're like, what the fuck is that? Like, they're all the same. So what happened is they go test the water. They pay money for this stuff. They realize really quickly that it's a mess. And get this, if a man is really looking to be in a relationship online, he wants the girl to be local.
Yeah.
Not in
like
North Carolina.
Yeah, not 300 plus miles away.
Or in a different country, right? Like, so that's what online does. Like, right. So what men do, because they're looking for a relationship, is don't get on computers. They don't like tease you. They don't dangle the carrots. They don't, like have you engage and then ignore you, right? They turn off their computers and they go in their world, their local area where they want you local.
Right.
Right. So in the store, at Starbucks, in California here, in the car wash, right? Gives you 45 minutes at a car wash waiting for your car, nothing to do. Ladies, get off your phone, watch what that men are taking, look around and see who's paying attention. Look who's looking. Men are always looking, scanning. Right? Like, so men are in the world looking, right? Everywhere they go. And women like, they're everywhere. Everywhere. In every line you stand in, turn around and look who's behind and in front of you. And just smile. See what happens. Right? So that's what men do. Men don't go online. So all the horror stories, and of course, like, okay, here, I'm just going to put that down right now. Some people got lucky online. Yes, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, 10 years ago, before all the padded algorithm shit, keeping you online in case just because you got so much attention. Like, 600 guys check your profile last month. Yeah, sure. Anyway, my point is, that happens. Some people get lucky. As a rule, especially now, it's bullshit.
Oh, it is. Like,
so
it's funny. My martial arts instructor met his wife like 7-10 years ago. And it was the end, like right before the algorithm keeping him online. I always tell him, and I said, "Are you sure you're happy? Because you both yell and bicker at each other." And I'm like, that is not a very healthy relationship. He's like, "Oh, we love each other." I'm like, kind of thing. All right, I'm just going to shut up and walk away.
It's the UBU, right? The UBU. But to me, for most men, for normal men, I'm going to say, they're not getting a relationship to compete, to fight, to like trying to like hold on to themselves. They're not in a relationship to try for her to change him, for her to mother him, for her to tell him what to do. Ladies, wake the hell up, right? No self-respect man is going to let you mother him. Now, I'm not saying you let him be a pig. That's not what I'm saying. But they're good guys, good men on pigs, good men respect women, want to take care of women, right? Want to cherish women, want to give to women, want to make them feel safe, want to make them happy or happier, right? That's by the way, instinct. Right. When if I can make my woman happy, I'm happy, because when she's relaxed, I can relax. When she feels good, I feel good. If I can make her feel sexy, she's fucking sexy, right? So that's why instinct. Men want to take care of women. Men want to protect women, provide and give to them, and make them feel happy, because that's the bonus. I could be by myself, or I could be with this lovely creature, who's fun to be with, who's warm to be with, who sees me, appreciates me, makes me feel more like a man for the stuff that I bring. That's what men are looking for, not somebody to compete with, change him, tell him what to do. Ladies, stop it. Stop it. Wake up. You don't get to control man. You control boys. Get this. I'm going to say this. This is going to trigger people. Ready?
Okay.
Ready? Men do not obey women or anyone.
A true man, yeah.
A true man does not obey anybody. He's going to be him. Right? Now, the magic in my world, communication stuff, is understanding that. Then how do you negotiate with him? How do you ask for correction? How do you ask for your wants and needs met? Respect. You have to do that respectfully. Right? If you approach a man like a bandit, if you approach a man with waving your finger in his face, and now you're sick of his bullshit, and you're gonna come at him this way, that's an attack, and you go again instinctively trigger, the fighter in him. So now he has to defend himself from you attacking him. You're gonna lose. You're gonna fucking lose, and you're gonna think, what a jerk! I've been trying to, I just want him to act right. I just want him to. No, you're not. You don't get to attack him thinking he's going to want to change. The attack triggers him attacking back, and you're going to lose. So there's a way to do this respectfully. There's a way to negotiate with men, which, we're neurotic fixers. So if you pull on that instinct to have them fix something because that'll make you happier, you can't even help it. And you'll feel like,
you're just picking up stuff and just going and doing it.
right. So he'll actually, if you know how to approach and use his instinct, to fix, to adjust, to correct, to negotiate something, he's happy to do it. Come at him with the voice and the tone and the face. And I'm sick of this bullshit. And I need you to, you said who have a problem, and it's you. Sorry. And now I'm not saying it's all the women's responsibility to do this. I'm just saying there's a way to do this, right? So I have women who don't understand how to do this. I teach them this, but I have men, right, who will come at me with, my wife of 10 years. She used to be so sweet and lovely. Now she can't stand the sight of me. I walk in the house. She tries to leave, right? I could tell the disdain, he goes, can you help me? I'm like, of course I can help you. So what's happening is she doesn't feel safe. Somehow she doesn't feel safe with you anymore. Doesn't feel cherished, right? And then feels abandoned on some level. Something is going on that's, because that's what brings out the worst out of women.
Right.
So how about you do this to make you feel that you care, that you cherish her, blah, 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 and do all this stuff to instinctively bring her back to feeling safe. And all of a sudden you're her hero. And now you watch her shoulders relax, and she's like happier, she's calmer because she's not so freaked out about whatever it is that you're not doing, right? So you took it for granted, maybe. Sometimes I get it, right? But do this and watch her just kind of relax, connect, and all of a sudden she's like finding herself safe again, and now she's happy with you, and she wants to get close to you as opposed to running away from you. And all of a sudden she's like, "Are you hungry? I can make you something if you want." Like she wants to nurture you. Mm-hmm. Right, and take care of you in that sense, right? Like it's all beautiful. So it's not all women, but women come at me all day long. So I always tell them how that works, and they go, well, "How come it's always up to us?" I'm like, "It's not always up to you. It's up to whoever wants it to be fixed." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the good news is not both men and women have to really understand this thing. If you know as a woman how to respect a man and bring the best in him, and know how to negotiate with him to have him doing your way, the way that works for you, you win. He will just respond. You'll get the best of him instinctively coming out, and you win everything. So that's worth learning how that works in order to get the life that you want, and vice versa, right? I get men like with that example from before. If you know how to treat your woman to bring the best in her, instinctively, you get the best of her. That's worth the work. So you don't both have to know this. As long as one gets it, the other one responds, and then the magic is right there. So I think that's what I see this is what people who really want quality relationships do, right? They learn, they get somebody to teach them how to dance.
That guy. So what I was saying is earlier, but this is very important for me too. I'll tie in a second. It was like, let's say there's a coffee shop girl I like, hypothetically. Yep. But I kind of know she's an on and off relationship. And let's say it would be weird for me to ask, "Oh, hey, are you up for going on a date?" Because especially in LA, a man approaching a woman randomly in a coffee shop is immediately just weird and taboo.
That's how badly we've messed this shit up, by the way.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But anyway, go ahead.
So it's just like one of those, how would you tell your clients to, like, if you like the one grocery clerk lady and you see her every week and she smiles and all that, how would you tell someone to go talk to her to somehow politely coax out a number and stuff like that?
Oh, so simple.
Okay.
It's so simple. If you've seen her, she's seen you, you're already halfway in. Right? Because now there's a reason why you're talking to her. You're not side saddling her out of nowhere, right?
Right.
She knows you, right? So you can't assume anything, right? So it doesn't matter if she's in a relationship. If she's, you can tell she's married typically, but if she's you don't know, right?
Okay.
But this is called grabbing, grabbing your balls and going for what you want.
Okay.
Right? Masculine men know what they want, they go for it. Boys don't. Okay. Right? So if there's a girl you like for whatever reason, and so you go, listen, there's something about you. I really like you, and I'd like to get to know you better. I'd like to see you off a coffee. What do you say? And handle your phone with the open tab for contact. That's all you have to say. I'll call you later. We'll make a plan. We'll go for coffee.
Okay.
Right? Now she'll say, if she's available, sure. Right? Or if she has a boyfriend, she'll go, oh, thank you so much, but I have a boyfriend. Right? If she's not interested, she might even say, oh, thank you so much, I have a boyfriend. It doesn't matter, right? You taking the action, right? Grab your balls and go say hi to the girl you like and say something about you. I like you. Like to get to know you better. Give me a number. I'll make a plan for coffee later. That's flattering to the feminine. That's manly for the masculine. And you're the guy who handles the shit. Simple. Now, if she's working, that's tricky a little bit because she's working. She might not be fully focused on you. So you might want to take her. Do you have a second? You know what I mean? When you're taking your break, like you want to get her maybe in a space that she knows you're talking to her, not in a work matter kind of thing. That's important. Right. You know what I mean? But you could do this anywhere. You walk into Starbucks, there's a girl you find interesting, not sure why, but there's something about her. She, go right up and, you want to get a signal first. So you want to make eye contact. If she doesn't make eye contact, chances are you're not going to be received well. Do you know what I mean? So there's there's all the body language signaling. Again, that's more nature, right? So that's why I tell ladies, get your nose off your phone and look around. You complain there's no man, but you spend your life with your nose on your phone. You know what it looks like when you leave this? What? I'm a girl. Let's say I'm a girl. Right? Anywhere in public. This is what men see.
Yeah. It's like, apparently that's more important than I am.
Nobody's asking me out. I don't understand. There's no men anywhere. Nobody's asking me out. Like nobody's like, so I go online, but even that, nothing happens because they don't call back. And, what the fuck is this? Right? So if you want to be, men are always scanning, by the way, that's nature again. Right? So ladies, put the shit down and do this. And look around. At Starbucks, in line at the store, at the groceries, anywhere you go, just be present, look around, and look who's looking. Mm-hmm. And if you lock eyes with somebody, and there's something about him, or he locks back on you, give him a big smile. That's an invitation to say hi. A gentleman needs an invitation. A dork, a geek, and a player will write, "Hey, girl, you cover
how you doing, girl?
Yeah, you work out, right?" A gentleman will never do this. A gentleman needs an invitation, as in a smile. Ladies, wake up. Get off the phone and look up. And then stop complaining there's no man when you spend your life with your face on your phone. Stupid.
It is.
Men are everywhere. Look up. Smile. Let's see what happens. And a gentleman will say hi. Promise you.
And then that opens a conversation. You can go from there.
And they'll take it from there.
The funny thing, how you mentioned the phone thing, I don't usually tell this story. So I met a girl online. I was a boy back then. Anything of a pulse that was willing to talk to me, I'd hang out with them. But now I have a little bit higher standards than that. But so we went to Starbucks to be polite, public place, all that jazz. And as we're going, how she greets me is she's playing like Candy Crush.
This is how she greeted you?
Literally Candy Crush like this.
That's great.
And I was just like, okay, she's in the middle of an intense game kind of thing. It might be time for whatever.
Let it finish, right?
Yeah. And then she ends and she never puts her phone down. It was always in her hand some way kind of thing.
Yeah.
She randomly FaceTimes a guy in New York during a date.
While she's with you.
While she's with me.
Get the hell out of there. Just get the hell. You play with your phone. I'll be back in my car.
Again, I was young, dumb. I didn't really have standards back then, so I kept going. And literally, the guy on the other end was like, he pretty much like looks at me through the phone and is like, "Bro, I'm so sorry," and just hangs up on her.
All right, he got it.
And I'm just sitting there dumbfounded. I'm like, "What the fuck? Yeah. What did I read wrong?" Kind of thing.
It's not you, right? No. By the way, if you're a man
I would have left a long time ago.
No, not that part of the dating app thing, right? So real man who actually, again, I have one client that he's learning to date. So it doesn't matter if he likes the girl, it doesn't matter what she looks like, doesn't matter, you know what I mean? As long as she's in the age bracket, I call it duty dating. I go, you get on an app and date as many girls as you can, right? With no expectations. You want to be around them and start opening your mouth and start because dating is awkward. And if you like somebody, it's even more awkward. You put your foot in your mouth, you're all nervous, you come off like a dork or a geek or whatever the hell, right? And she comes off like completely detached and weird. Because when you have chemistry with somebody, it's hard to be yourself, right? So I call it duty dating. Go date anybody. Just go spend a half hour with somebody for coffee that you don't know, right? Learn to develop that skill of being with somebody and being relaxed, be able to talk, be able to do small talk, not a 3-hour dinner, half-hour coffee lot. If it goes well, it could turn to an hour coffee, date. But be with women if you're a man, and be with men if you're a woman. Any one of them, nobody to date, nobody you want to, just to be, you could develop that skill and actually start understanding different characters in men and women. So this guy online is dating a whole bunch of women, not in the intent necessarily to find somebody, but he's practicing dating. So when he finds a girl in public who's got chemistry for, he knows how to freaking do it and has the confidence to go, hey, I like you. Because he's done it with 6 other girls online earlier and made it happen. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's what I'm saying. So ladies, get off your phones.
Don't FaceTime during a date.
God damn.
Oh, dude, I have hell of a story. It's just, like I said, I didn't have standards. There was one where you mentioned earlier, the catfishing, where 10 years younger.
Yeah.
Again, I was trying to be the nice boy or guy. And so I went to go meet, and I had a photo out. So I'm like, okay, this is what she's supposed to look like. I'm looking for her through the window kind of thing. And this big, person comes out, like a 450-pound person. I'm like, oh, dude, that's a big dude kind of thing. Well, all right, whatever. And then the dude turns the corner, and I'm like, those are some big bitch tits. Oh, shit.
That's her?
That's her. Literally the only time.
Congratulations.
I got catfished so good. And she came in with no bra, sweaty, stained up sweater, armpit stains beyond belief. She scratched her armpit, sniffed it, flicked something off, and then grabbed her pussy, scratched that, and then sat. And immediately when she sat, that wood chair just went, boo, almost gave. And so I just okay, so you're this, 5 minutes in, and one of my the coffee shop I go to, the owner knows me, and he's all looking at me what the fuck is going on here? So he signals, he actually says, I said, help me. So he goes, he said, hey, you, I need you in the back again. He took me in the back of the store, only time I've been back there, showed me the door out, and literally I came back a couple days later because it was just a thank you. I bought a coffee from him.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, she sat there for 4 hours.
Oh, no.
I'm sad to say she probably couldn't get up.
Oh, God.
But that's the only time I just took my stuff and ran.
Bolted. But no, it's and so would she think you weren't going to notice?
Yeah. And there was one of those, right out of the gate, I'm starting to think of a polite word. And she's like, oh, I look different. I'm like, yeah. Little, just a lot. And she's like, yeah, that was back when I was in high school. Oh, okay.
What the hell? She's 35?
No, she was 8. She said she was 16 back then, and she was 26. And I sitting there, the next question is, what happened then?
Well, I mean, again, you're not going to notice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I understand being insecure and, doing anything to make that happen, on some level. But again, that's why men just don't fucking go on those apps. They've been caught in that a couple of times, and then he had to make a plan. He had to make the schedule. He had to get off work early. Maybe he had to drive there for that.
Right.
That's what they say. Fuck that shit. Fuck online. They go shopping in their neighborhood. Just saying.
And that's where my instructor's been pushing me like, oh, you need a girl, this and that. You're not going to be successful without one. And I'm like, probably, but like right now, the internet people are just crazy.
But don't do the internet. Just do what I just said.
Yeah, just date them. If they get crazy.
Or go. I mean, like I said, my buddy, the guy that I'm working with, my client, I'm building his self-confidence to be able to talk.
Right.
Because he doesn't have he's so shy, he doesn't have the gap. So I go, do the dating. But if you're looking for a relationship, right? Go in your world, go, get hang out, look who's looking, get his attention. I mean, you could go to almost any girl. This actually works easily. Any girl that you kind of catch her eyes, right? Mm-hmm. You could sort of walk up to her and go, "Hey, I like you." And she'll look up and go, "What?" He goes like, I don't know. There's something about you. I like you. And I'd like to get to know you better. It's like, if you give me a number, I'll set it up and we'll go for coffee. Like, they all say yes.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10.
If you're not creepy, right? Obviously, you have to be like not creepy. You have to be able to. You have to say this without stumbling and sound like a serial killer. That's why he's practicing anybody dating, because he's practicing this. But like the moment you have a little mojo with that, then you know you're not going to die if she says no, or I'm married, I don't like you, or whatever lies it's telling you. Big deal. Like I say to him the same thing I say to anybody, any guy. If you just look at the girl walk by and you do nothing, you got nothing except I should have said something. Now you're beating yourself up. Right?
Yes.
Freaking say something, and she might say no, but at least you have you're handling something. You have a shot at something. Say something. Right? I like you. Something about you. Can we have a coffee? If you give me a number, I'll make a plan. I'm cool. Really, I'm cool.
I'm not crazy. I might look crazy, but I'm not
first
crazy.
You say, "Hi, my name is." What's your name? And then you go something about you, right? Like do it like a gentleman. For most women, it's like, wow, like nobody's ever like. And then she calls her girlfriend. Oh my God, it'll never happen. Like I was walking, and this guy just came up to me. Go, "Hi, my name is John." And what's your name? And like he says, "I like you." So like I give my number. Isn't that crazy? I hope he calls me, and you do. Like it's flattering for a woman. Any energy movement towards a woman, a natural, normal woman, especially, it's flattering. The girls to be seen and approached this way, respectfully, like a gentleman, fucking tell that story for years. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. He came right up and said, "Hi, I like you." They like that story. They like that story, right?
So. They do. And that's one of those stories they want it, but then at the same time, like we were saying earlier, they're taught to be more masculine, like more shielded. So if someone comes up, you immediately put your shield up, kind of thing.
Which is okay, right? I mean, that's a bit. There's nature in that, right? So women who are pretty attract a lot of dork, geeks, drunks, anybody. So they kind of walk around. They go to the gym every day, and there's a couple of young girls in there, and they're fucking shielded up because they're surrounded by guys. They go, "Hey, you look good.
At me lift my 550 pounds."
No, they go after them. "You look good," right? Like it's creepy, right? So what they do is they basically block everybody out. They don't look at anybody. They don't smile at anybody. They don't say hi to anybody because just a smile and a hi will start some douchebag conversation. So I get it. Pretty women get bombarded, So there's a shielding up, but there's a difference between, when it's appropriate or, and when it's not. Like if you're if you look that you don't care, that you're unavailable, that you're taken by not paying attention to anybody around you, you're going to get just that. So sweet spot.
Yeah. Be a little vulnerable, but not, I'm going to say, yeah, especially how women get it. Don't be too vulnerable. You don't want to get trapped by a crazy, lazy boy. But the funny thing for me is like, I would go to college and I'd do the same thing. I'm very introverted, but I knew like, if I want to just talk to people, you got to grab your balls and go talk to someone.
There you go.
And so I would. And it was just one of those, the funny thing. And I produced this and it's kind of like almost math. Any woman that actually is willing to talk to me 9 times out of 10 are married, have a boyfriend, or a lesbian.
Yeah. Safe. Right.
And it's just one of those, I'm like, bullshit.
Well, because they don't have anything that, oh shit, like he's going to try to get my number. Like they're all blocked in already, right? Like married. So yeah, I have a husband, boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. Lesbian. Well, I have a girlfriend. So you're safe, right? You're safe. So I get that. At the same time, you don't know until you say it. till you bring it up, right? Fucking do it. And again, if she's got a man, she'll tell you. One of I was teaching it to another client, a guy.
Mhm.
He's younger, but he's got mojo. He's got a little swag. So he's got a sort of a natural ability. But when it comes to the ones that he really likes, he chokes.
Interesting.
Of course, because it's, he's trying too hard. He's overthinking it, right? He gets all nervous, right? And I go, dude, right? Just approach and, and the one girl that he really was choking on, she's like, you're so sweet, but I think you're a little younger than, for me, And he's like, how old are you? She goes, I'm 25, and he's 20. She's like, that's not a problem. She goes, yeah, I mean, I'm looking to build something, but thank you so much. You're really sweet. So he came back, from that experience going, I did it. I did it, right? He went after her. She was not available, or she was like, it's okay. That's the point, right? Like, she'll tell you. But if you say nothing, you get nothing.
100%. And it's true. And it's funny, like when I go get my haircut, unless like she's really shielded up and like defensive, then it's that awkward 30-minute haircut and saying not a single thing other than, do you like it? Yeah. But usually I know a good stylist immediately right out of the gate, they're talking, they're trying to get you interacting and all that.
Yep.
And one of the girls, I knew the way she was talking to me, I could instinctively tell she didn't have anyone. But at the same time, like work is work. I'm not going to date my clients kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we were talking, I was just joking about the same thing. And she said, oh, you're so nice, this and that. And I said, yeah, but nice guys always finish last. So it doesn't really matter. Thanks for the compliment. And then she suddenly, the dynamic shifted. Then she's trying to help me and giving me all this advice.
There we go. Became your mom.
And it was just one of those. And then I think, it was to be like, to book an event, like text me kind of thing, and I'll cut your hair. She gave me her personal cell. And it's one of those, I was just like, that moment I realized, I'm like, this is one of those, I need to be a man. And I just hand it back. I'm like, thank you. If I see you, I'll ask for you. But otherwise, I'm going to do my own thing.
Thank you. Oh, that's a good one.
And, but yeah, I went to a barbershop. It was funny because the barbershop was the first one. It was like a wife just married kind of thing. She got married right before the pandemic started. I was like, hey, cool. So she's telling me her whole story. I immediately clicked like, oh, she has a husband. She never said it. Then halfway through, I just asked, I'm like, okay, are you married? Because she's like, yeah, how did you know? I'm like, you're talking to me openly.
I could tell, right? I could tell there's no chance of anything going on here.
Right. So, and that's where then we got talking. But she got so passionate about her husband. Like this side was super short and this side was super long.
Oh, weird.
It was just, I didn't want to, and literally even the shop owner's kind of like, shit. And essentially I was like, oh, thank you. And then the owner pulled me aside and like tried to fix this as much as he could. And that's where I went to the lady in the other shop I went to. I go there now consistently. And she said like, oh yeah, this and that. Well, she's like, us women, when we get passionate, we forget what we're doing. Like I could tell my hair suffered from it.
Hysterical. That's hysterical.
But the biggest one though, like the wife, when I was talking to her, it was one of those, I randomly I was talking to a lady. No, I was talking to her boyfriend because she couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, kind of like what you do, but more just like, this is a dude talking to a dude.
Yep.
I said, hey, your girl's a little frustrated. And she's like, well, yeah. I said, well, why is she frustrated? And he kind of looked, oh, I don't know. I'm like, why haven't you asked her then? He's like, that's a good question. I said, I'll make a deal with you. It's going to cost you about $100, but I promise you will at least fix the next week worth of shit you did. Buy her a really soft blanket, whatever her favorite plush toy animal is. It could be a cliche teddy bear. As long as it's soft, it works. And her favorite candy. It doesn't have to be chocolate, whatever her favorite she always asks for. I promise you'll at least fix this week's worth of shit. And he did it, and they made up, and they were happy. And that's when he finally asked, like, what did I do wrong? And she explained. And he's like, oh, shit, Josh was right. I'm like, so it's that emergency last-ditch effort. If you really fucked up, do that.
Well, it's one way again, if she's upset, often because we hurt their feelings without knowing, right? They think that we know, but we don't know. So the same way they disrespect us all the time, and they don't know they're doing it, because saying this to a woman would not make you feel disrespected. Saying this to the same thing to a man makes him feel disrespected. Like, So I have to teach the ladies that, like, you constantly disrespecting us, bringing out the beast, the animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say to ladies, I says, so just pay attention. You disrespect, you'll say something, and the first time of disrespect, you'll see this. Watch his jaw will go.
Clench up.
Will clench. So the first thing to look for is a clench. Everything's fine, and then all of a sudden it goes, and it clenches. Number one, you just said something disrespectful. Number two, you'll watch him just disappear.
You obviously all energy in the face goes away.
It will disappear, right? You'll feel him pull back. If he's in the same room with you and stays there, you'll feel him 600 miles away. He will disconnect from you completely, or he may actually just get away from you, like get in his car, go outside, go to the garage. Disrespect. That's what it looks like when a man, it was present and he disappears in a second, right? Now you don't know you're doing it because the language is something that wouldn't affect you. So they constantly disrespect us without knowing. We constantly hurt their feelings without knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you notice that something is wrong with her, dude, go fix it. It's like now to make her feel safe or seen or cherished, any little gesture will do this. Right? Any gesture towards her will do this, whether you buy her chocolate or just, put your arms around her. My favorite thing is, men don't really want to talk about stuff because often when we start, even if I start the "Are you okay?" conversation, it turns into a fight of everything that I'm not doing. So I'm not going to start opening the door to something that's going to turn against me. This is what most men say. Like, I don't want to talk about it because it's going to turn out to some shit that I didn't do. It's my fault. And now we're really fighting. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going there. So this is why men don't want to talk. Because it's going to get worse. So his safety is in, or his fixing the situation is not by not making it worse. So don't fucking bring it up. You know what I mean? So that's not healthy. That's not right. But that's the default for most, right? I'm not going to make it worse by, opening the door. I'm just wait for her to calm down. Maybe we'll talk about it later. It never happens, right? So I said, if talking is a problem, if talking, feel like if you're tired, you don't want to hear it, right? But you can tell something is wrong. Are you ready? Very simple. Put your hands on her. Put your hands on her. Mm-hmm. Hug her. Put your arm on, your hand on her shoulder, on her arm, on her hip. Just hold her. Put your hands on her. See what happens. Right? And then the moment that she relaxes, because she can't stay mad at you when you connect with her that way, just the connection that happens with touching her, disarms her, makes you completely present to you, and if she's upset, she'll do this with you. Like she'll do this with you. So it'll be hard for her to make eye contact, right? And you keep your hands on her and she'll finally do this. She'll look at you and you go, "Are you okay?" "Well, when you said that earlier, it made me feel like this, and, I just don't know what to do with this." And all of a sudden there's an ease of connection and an ease in that of the conversation.
Oh yeah.
Not that hard, right?
It's basic, just human psychology. Like, I actually had a guest on, she's writing a book. And for me, now that you say it, I like fixing things. I like finishing whatever the story. That's I like stories. And, and it was just one of those, she was struggling with one of her like transition piece from the climactic, it's a woman in like the 1800s, rough life and all that. And she's sleeping with the guy that she knows bad for her. And she said, "But I can't do it where she realizes it's a problem." I said, "Basic human psychology." I said, "You can figure out the details. But when she gets out of the bed, she readjusts herself, even though she's naked, and she never smokes, but she lights up a cigarette and smokes. And as she's getting up, she kind of like rubs her shoulder like this." I said, "That is anyone who knows human psychology and gestures immediately tells something's wrong with that." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Those are all addict signs or someone going through withdrawals that they know they shouldn't be doing." And she's like, "Brilliant." And the funny thing is, she finished it and finally sent it to me. And I read that section and it was gorgeous. Cause like me, I'm very blunt to the point. She did a good, whatever, rosé effect on it.
Yeah.
And she's like, thank you. That was like exactly what I needed. I'm like, because I was there at one point. I know the feeling. I'm just literally talking from experience.
And it's knowing what's happening, even though you may not have complete words for it at the time, to go,
Something's terribly wrong. Don't
something's
do
terribly
this.
wrong here. You see it. Yep.
So one thing I want to pitch at you is so the hookup culture, especially especially here in LA, but I'm noticing it's everywhere.
No, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's around the world.
So how is that from your perspective affecting the dynamics of the relationships?
Boy, how much time do we have?
How long do you got?
I mean, this is a really, really, really tricky one because, and if you have like, millennial listeners, they all get triggered because they think I'm trying to throw them back in the 50s and I'm a pig and no, none of that. I'm exact opposite. I'm a lover of women, but you've been sold a lemon when it comes to sex. You've been sold a giant lemon since the 60s when it comes to sex. And here we go. This one liner. Are you ready? Here it goes. Right. You could get some head may explode, but hey, this is my work. This is what I do. That's all I do all day long. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Men marry virtue, not vaginas.
They do. And those who do marry for vaginas get away from it pretty quick afterwards.
My point is, like, sex has never made a man commit to anything. If you're going to let a man into your body, without him having to build something with you, and towards you, right? Get this. This is a piece of psychology data. Is if you, ladies, your brains are going to explode right now. That's a $10,000. I should charge for this moment right now. I shouldn't give it away for free. But nobody knows this, right? If say like, this is the cultural, typical, right? You meet a guy, whichever way, right? A man, you go for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 dates, right? You're both looking for a future together. You like Sue, you like him. By day number 4, it's like, hey, let's roll. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because for most women, not being raised in this fucking backward culture, having sex, starting intimacy is the beginning of a relationship. It's not ever for men. Boys will take. And everyone wants to have sex, right? The guys always want to have sex. It's nature again, right? We're built to procreate and spread our seeds as much as possible. That's the human animal, right? The human spirit, the other side of us, who wants to build something, discipline ourselves into building something of quality, does not that, right? But if you date a guy and you like him and likes you, he's going to try. He's going to want to, and part of it is a test, part of it is nature, part of it is right. Point is, this is psychology. If a guy likes you, let's say that took 3 weeks to get there, right? He likes you like him, you have good chemistry, right? And you start rolling. Are you ready? You ready for this? The moment you sleep with him, whichever level, however much he knows you or likes you, stops him right there.
Mm-hmm.
It stunts his emotional investment in you right there. So if he likes you 3 weeks worth, and you have sex within the 3 weeks, he will not be able to get invested in you emotionally past that line.
Yeah.
That's some shit, right? Like, so if he likes you 3 weeks, he doesn't know your last name, never met your parents, doesn't care about what you do, what your dreams and aspirations are. He doesn't know you, right? He won't be able to get into you anymore. Something about that is unnatural. I hate to say, it's just, again, I'm teaching nature. Something about that feels like you don't feel safe to him. You had to do nothing but buy you dinner 3 times for you to do this with him. So, like, it's a lizard brain mechanism. It's instinctual. If I didn't, if I didn't have to prove that I'm a good guy, that I can provide and protect her, that I, and for her to have boundaries and be virtuous, I can't truly trust her.
Right.
That's not a thought process. It's a reactiveness. So I like her, but as soon as you sleep with him too fast, he goes, he's all right, and typically moves on. If he's a geek, has no game, he's going to keep sleeping with you until he gets bored with you. If relationships that are sexually driven or based on sexuality first, instead of liking each other, knowing each other first, last maximum 3 years. There's a 1 year of enjoying the sex life. There's 1 year of kind of grooving and 1 year to dismantle it. He's never emotionally invested in you. He never really liked you. He doesn't want to build something with you. He's just using your body. And it's when women, say men only want sex. Well, that's all you're giving them. Like you're giving them sex without having to do anything. They'll take it, but it doesn't make you valuable. Man, marry virtue, not vaginas. Not my opinion, data, facts. And men can't explain it. They want to have the sex with you because that's how they get out of their heads. But if they don't like you or trust you to build a future with, he's not taking you to your mother to meet her. He's going to find another woman who's more virtuous that he could trust. Again, that's all reactive. It's not a thought process. Men can't explain this. They just react to it. So I think it's worth knowing. So the idea of you get yours, girl, because men get theirs, thinking, again, we're equal. Counter nature doesn't work that way. Double standards, yep, so sorry. Blame God. Don't blame me. I'm just giving the data. Don't kill the messenger. That's serious.
Right. And like you mentioned earlier, how men are built very different than women. And that's one of them. I actually had a very hardcore feminist, put it that way, on the show.
Great.
And essentially I told her, I said, she's like, something about how it brought up about men and we're pigs and animals. And I'm like, well, said, if you look at the frame of a man, though, we are built to pick up heavy things. We are built to exert way more power into a movement, hence throwing a spear. So we go kill a 700-pound lion for you, and a group of us try to like shoulder and bring it back. Mm-hmm. If we had you ladies do that, one of you would completely blow out your shoulder or everything.
Well, the lion would have eaten 3 of them first.
Right.
First.
And that's where I said, it's not a feminism to man thing.
Nature.
You ladies, just through nature and through nurture, realize it is smarter to go pick the berries, tend to the food, and
the children, the fire.
Right. Yep. And while he's out there killing that big scary thing that may or may not get back from.
Straight up, absolutely, straight up.
So that's how we were built.
That's nature. That's millennia of this is how we get to survive.
And it's just, and on the same note, I told her, I said, because I introduced, like, I'm a martial artist. So I said, especially with this whole, I'm going to hit a big one, the trans community and the gender fluid and the changing. I said, I could say, I, Josh, now am coming out. I am a woman and I want to fight in MMA. Don't judge me. I'm starting my transition. I said, now how fair would that be for me to hop in a ring with a real woman who's been training her whole life to may or may not prove her ex or her father wrong, that she is a strong person.
Yeah.
I come in and cold cock her real quick.
Yeah.
I said, how fair is, I'm a woman now. You can't say anything, kind of thing. I said, that's not fair. I'm naturally stronger.
Beyond that, it's fucking ridiculous.
It is.
It's apples and oranges. You could call the apple an orange. It doesn't mean it's an orange. And you get to, put them in the same, they say, if you're going to do this, you just eliminated half the Olympics.
Right.
Congratulations. Okay. So like women will lose at everything.
Mm-hmm.
In the world where you want to win at everything, you're going to turn this. Now that's not even a little bit logical. Never mind normal. That's fucking ridiculous.
Emotion. It's just ridiculous.
Pure emotion. It's ridiculous.
It is.
It's ridiculous. So if I feel like a leopard, do I say I walk around like I'm a spotted leopard, and so you have to call me a leopard? I mean, you would say go to the psychiatrist. Something wrong with you, dude. Right?
I had a lady at a job site. I mean, this is before I knew about the whole LGBTQ plus thing.
Yeah.
She just came up and says, I sexually identify as a cat. I'm like,
no, she didn't.
She straight up didn't even tell me her name. I was like,
Did you call a therapist? Did you call a therapist right on the spot? 911?
I pretty much said, oh, okay, you're a cat. I'm just curious, why aren't you meowing? These cats meow. And she said, well, I don't talk like that. I'm like, meow, 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 meow. Kind of thing. And then, so then something else, and she went to eat and she got a Big Mac. I'm like, oh, no. You said you're a cat. Why are you eating a Big Mac? Cats can't eat Big Macs. They die if they eat Big Macs. Where's your catnip? And she's like sitting there, and she called the boss, and he had to come out and give me the whole spiel.
Being toxic. Yeah.
He doesn't understand my sexuality, but he literally, like, he pulled me over the van in the back, like, dude, that was funny.
That's funny as hell. Now, again, why do I give a fuck about your sexuality?
I didn't.
And why should you care about mine? Right. Like, I don't fucking need to, when I go in public, I don't take my wife on the table in the restaurant. I just don't take her right there. That's not cool. Right. And I don't French kiss her in front of the waitress as well. It's fucking tacky. Right. So there's things that we just don't need to do or know about. Like, I don't care who's in your bed and who's under you or on top of you. That's your fucking business. Why you put that in my face when I'm not asking? Why are you forcing it on me? Like, you identify as a cat. Okay. I'm going to go. Well, you could talk to yourself. Like, it's retarded. It's absolutely retarded.
The shitty part for me is I had a trainer for that day too. So it's not like if I left, I would actually get in trouble kind of thing. So I was like, this is going to be a long day.
Boy. And again, like there's something about that whole thing that, and I understand, right? That's if you're going to really step into, they're trying to be accepted or trying to be respected and trying to be right. Well, respect is not something that you demand.
Right.
Respect you have to earn. So if you're gonna demand me respecting you, to ask me to talk to you or identify you as something I'm not asking about, I don't know you, right? So you can't demand me to talk to you in any which way. If I like you and you respect me, I'll be much more, tempted to, talk to you and respect you and, treat you and use the right pronouns, whatever.
Right.
But you can't make me. That's rude, and you're going to get the opposite, right? You can't make me disrespect. You can't. So that's the problem that's wrong with this is the more you decide to force things like this on the public, which is, like I said, I don't want to know this. I don't need to know this. I'm not asking you about this, right? So, but you're going to lean on me with that shit. Typically I'm going to have a reaction aversive to you. And now I don't like you, and I'm sure as fuck I don't respect you. And now you're calling me names because I'm disrespectful. Well, it doesn't fucking work that way. So how about you just, wait for it to be a part of a conversation with a friend, as opposed to leading with that shit and demanding. That's ridiculous. That's creating tension and victimhood on you for no apparent reason. But if that's the agenda, well, it's working. And then sure, I'm the pig now because, well, no, sorry, it's not. That's not how you function in society. Sorry.
It's true, and I've been called terrible names because they're like, "Oh, you don't understand." I'm like, "No," and that's literally why I'm asking these questions that seem bigot or whatever you're calling it.
Yeah,
I don't get it, and like you're forcing your will upon me. So
I'm not asking.
I'm not going to give it an ounce of attention.
Yeah,
it's just funny because like another woman, this is right when COVID, like the lockdowns were just being considered in 2020.
Yeah.
So we were getting an onslaught of people trying to buy before the official lockdowns happened. And this random lady comes running into the grocery store, for some reason, beelines for me. And my boss is like sitting in the front, like, what the fuck just happened? And just yells at me like, "Oh, I sexually identify as a unicorn." And I'm like working with heavy machinery, and I turn it off and I turn and I'm like, what? I say, I identify as a unicorn. I'm like,
I'm working.
I'm processing. I'm like, I don't think you are a unicorn. I said, what part of the unicorn do you prefer? She's like, the horn. I'm like, I think you're horny, honey.
You dog.
And she kind of sat there, processed it. She said, you're right. And just walks like proudly past my boss. He's shitting bricks. And she's like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I don't know. She came at me out of nowhere. So I came at her out of nowhere.
Did you know her?
No clue who she was.
Insanity. Again, call a therapist. Call a therapist, lady.
Stop coming to Josh about your problems.
Oi. I had one give this in Los Angeles, right? So I have like this whole like white against brown and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody's a racist. So again, they teach this stuff in school.
They do.
Right? Get this. So one of my friends at the gym is Guatemalan.
Okay.
So he's brown.
Right.
Okay. I'm more brown than he is, by the way, but whatever. So this white girl, this blonde Megan, right, is talking to him about the terrible racism in our country. And he goes, I don't get it. I live here. I'm born here. I'm Guatemalan. I'm brown, but I don't know what you're talking about. I never experienced any of that stuff. And in the brown skin world, he's lighter brown skin, if it's put it this way.
Right. But he's
and
still...
she says to him, oh, it's because you're not brown enough. You don't understand what all of you people are suffering. And he's like, I'm fucking Guatemalan. White girl, Megan, right? But she's making him wrong that he's disconnected with the racism that his people experience because he's too light brown. And he's just like, I just wanted to punch her in the head. Like she said, this chick who knows nothing but what they taught her, in school, and nothing about the world, nothing about life, nothing about any of this, is basically condescending him, saying, you don't know shit because I know, because I went to school, and he's just not brown.
Well,
and he's like,
you're
what
brown, but not brown. You didn't go to college.
A white girl.
Well, and this is the big thing. So my current coworker, he's 18 and he's very black. We'll put it that way. I don't know a better way to put it. Person of color, I guess, but
he's black.
He is, and he's proud of it. He says the N-word all the time. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get me in trouble saying that. But
my buddy is worse than me. He's hysterical. He's black as hell. He's black. But he'll say the worst thing on purpose, and people just don't know what to do with it. Sorry, I interrupted.
It's all good. But so one of those, it was just we're eating, and he bought grapes and all that, and he jokingly was saying grape soda. I'm like, and that's where I'm like, what, if we're gonna get all down that route, what did you think of BLM? And he's like, it was stupid. There was no reason for it. I said, yeah, I love white women with their soy lattes and their
I know.
I said, you notice in the photos, there's not a single black person unless they're with the friend in the white group, and they're like in the middle, so you can't see them because they were smart about it.
Yeah.
Because they know if they're caught there, they're immediately going to get prosecuted. With the white girls, they're not. So if we associate with the white girls, we're good.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, there were some where it was like the community showed up, and he's like, and now it's good. But he's like, yeah, those like 70, 80% of them were white girls. I'm like, and yet they're like, racism's a problem. Like, honey, we help you. Racism bad, men bad. And I'm like,
right.
I just sat there, and he's like, it just seems like white chicks don't get it anymore.
Straight up. I mean, but they're indoctrinated by the school, their teachers, their liberal teachers, and like that's this whole indoctrination. And it's that I'm not saying it's going to paranoid. It's factual. Like there's a ton of research on this. The whole fucking system, school system, judicial system is all going the other way, rigged against men, against logic. And so with that, there's no justice and no logic. And then you watch the mess that's out there, and then you wonder why men and women don't get together. Well, that's part of it too. Black against white, Christian against Muslim, men against women, like feminists against patriarchy, like it's all divided everything, liberal and, Democrats and Republicans, like everything has got rapidly worse the past few years. It's on purpose. There's a plan there. Destroy everything, get people to fight together, and you can fuck them from the back.
Pretty much.
Which is what the government is doing. Anyway, got me going now.
We've already gone off the deep end and drank the Kool-Aid anyway. So, but that's the biggest one. So my first, I would say, a situationship. At the time, I was thinking girlfriend, but this situationship.
Yep.
Was immediate red flags looking as an adult back. Immigrant, lived at a church, sex addict, and had the people at the church would stay there longer than 4 hours. And I'm like, church is cool. It's not that cool, kind of thing. So I didn't see it, but essentially she raped me on the campus. But it's one of those, and then there was another one later on that raped me too. But it's just one of those, I told, tell people, and they're like, oh, you're lucky, you're a man, this and that. And I'm like, no. I said, the system's so rigged, even if I wanted to, the system's like, you're going to say what you said. Oh, you're lucky. Oh, well, go away.
You got laid.
But then a moment a woman said, he's a monster. Oh, geez, you guilty until proven innocent, go to jail kind of thing. And it's just one of those, it's that was the other thing with the feminists I brought up, the same thing. I said, how is that fair for me? The system's so rigged, even if I had the evidence and proof, the ladies would be like, girl, good for you. You're going to jail.
You get yours. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just one of those, she's like, yeah, that isn't fair. I'm like, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of innocent men that have been raped by women, but we can't talk about it.
But I mean, literally rape physically, rape through a divorce, took out all her money, took the kids against him, raped emotionally, raped, broke their heart, like in the name of, I'm mad at you, and he's gonna have to pay because now I'm mad at him. I had a client, Latino, two young boys, like 4 and 5, back-to-back kids. And his wife, he had an affair. I get it. That's not sexy. That's his fault. He did it. I get it.
Right.
But his wife is, whatever. So in order to, her revenge, are you ready? This is her revenge for having an affair. Right? He's Latino. He's all about his kids, right? And family. And he messed
the kids
up.
Against him.
Worse than that. So called the cops, said he rapes her on a constant basis. He beats her up on a regular basis, right? And then says he sodomized both kids on a regular basis.
And he had no way of repairing that.
They showed up at his house. They arrested him. No questions asked, right? Because nobody makes those claims unless they're true. Complete lies, right? She was going to make him pay. She was going to destroy him because she felt humiliated. She's a little nuts. I get that. But, right? So it's seriously. So now he's in jail. He spent the next 5 years costing $200,000 to dismantle this whole thing. Lost custody of his children. He could not see them. Right? His boys, he lost his boys at 4 and 5. So he saw them almost 5 years later. They were 9 and 8 by the time he saw them again. Right? They lost their childhood. And it was disproved case after case, that she lied. He never raped her. He never beat her. He never touched the boys. $200,000 later, and no repercussion for her at all. Zero. None. Like, she should have been hung for perjury, or
she should have gotten a similar sentence kind of thing for
something, right? In jail, not even hung. Hung to the wolves, right? Like, it's just like in jail for lying and using the system like this. She has no money, so he can't even get his money back, the $200,000, right? He got custody of the kids, and now but no repercussion. Like, they're like, oh, well, we have to, women, have to listen to the girls, because why would they lie? Well, they lie.
They lie a lot. And that's the big one. It's funny, but it's not, is the Me Too movement when it was at its peak, and it's kind of like having a weird comeback too. I'm noticing that. And honestly, like, that was the biggest thing I told my instructor. Like, why aren't you going to girls? Why aren't you getting laid? Because I'm like, I'm going to have to sit here paranoid for the next rest of my life, because this woman could claim 5 to 15 years later, anything. It's like, oh, he did this to me because I'm famous now.
Right.
And I have to think, how many girls have I been with, kind of thing. And it's like, no, I don't remember you, kind of thing.
Yep.
And then that could be like, he doesn't actually care about her.
Ruin his life.
And I told him, I'm like, I said it politely. I'm happy being single. I'm like, women seem so much more dangerous and a liability than they're worth lately.
Well, guess, totally. And guys will say stuff like this. It's not worth it.
It's not.
They're not worth it. And then wonder why, they're like, where are all the good men?
Well, your other fellow ladies.
Congratulations for, making no sense. And then basically just you become a liability. There's always a liability, right? I think with women, pregnancy and being trapped that way. But now liability is the rest of your life, possibly. It's just to say that, so congratulations, ladies. Like, you're on your own.
Feminist power.
You're on your own.
And that was the one thing I told the feminists. I said, I'm deathly scared to even like tap a woman on the shoulder. But as a polite, like, hey, I need to get over there. I'm deathly scared to touch a woman now.
Yep.
And it's not like I'm gay or anything. It's just like the liabilities just immediately start ringing.
What's terrible is that because of that too, men stop coming to the rescue of women.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the girl's drowning, and if you save her from drowning, she might, turn and say, He touched my breast when he pulled me out of the water.
Or CPR,
right? So
you can get sued for cracking the ribs.
Yeah, or even like mouth to mouth. You know what I mean? You could get sued for. So like men who are naturally heroes and want to save everyone, especially women and children, right? Like this will sit there and watch you drown, watch you get beat up, watch you fucking get
pull out her
held up,
phone and just be like, okay,
get held up, and it won't, like, because you're now a liability. Like now, obviously, it's not every woman.
No,
it's a small percentage, but they tinted it for everybody, right? There's 50% and 15% of women who are like, there's a radical shit who have destroyed it for all other women and men. So was it worth it?
I was gonna say that's the ultimate question. Was it worth it?
Way to go. What did you gain? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, except the distrust and disrespect from men.
Pretty much. Well, like a good example, where I am, there's some hills and like a hiking route. And this woman was yelling at the top of her lungs, no, stop it, kind of thing. And it's just like I was going out to water my plant because I have a leak. So I took my 5-gallon bucket out to pour it. And I'm sitting going, am I imagining that, or is that really something going on? So I put the bucket down and I walk to the backyard. And it's one of those, my mom even came out and was like, what's going on? A civilian drone came to check. It was following
her.
No, there was a man trying to help her. And it was just one of those, I told my mom, I'm like, should I go run around and help her? And immediately I was like, wait, no, because then if she's crazy, she's going to be like, whatever, you did this, and this to me. And I said,
yeah.
I said, hopefully it's not rape in the park. I'm just going to go inside and act like it didn't happen.
Yep. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some goodies right there, isn't it?
And
you take men and instinct to provide and protect away.
Yeah. Because it's like,
and you wonder why they're angry.
Yeah. And
they don't feel safe ever.
And it was one of those, afterwards, then like I was chatting with my mom and we were checking to make sure, we're both okay. And I told her, I said, this is the same problem for me as a martial artist. But I said, I made a personal rule myself. I'll gladly go to jail to protect my family.
Yeah.
But some random person on the street, though, I'm not so keen on it.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah.
And it's sad to say, I'm a man and I'm white and I'm a martial artist. Boom, you're in jail. No,
you're gone. You're gone. You're the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
How ridiculous is that?
It is.
In the name of what?
Justice. What weird justice they have.
Oh,
perceived.
Yeah, that's justice. Yeah. So we're gonna watch you get beat up because get this. My son was working at Home Depot, and some guy walked in to the cashier. You know how the big doors are right by the cashier.
Yeah.
Right. So the guy went to the woman this big as a cashier with a BB gun, but he taped the fluorescent part, so it looked like a regular revolver.
Right.
Right. Did one of these and started shooting at her. Then he hit her like BB gun. He starts shooting her the way the
amount of terror that poor woman just went through.
Right, and she's a petite. Of course, he picks up this petite one. So he goes 1, 2, and one of the employees, who's a Marine, on 3 tackled his ass. Right, because he doesn't know that's a BB gun. Right, he probably hear from the noise, but the fact that he's actually shooting at a girl.
Yeah, he's a problem. But yet he got in trouble, right?
So he got fired.
Mm-hmm.
He got fired from his job for tackling the man who was shooting a revolver, BB gun, whatever, at his coworker, female. And he got fired. I would sue their asses so bad. I don't care what kind of regulations rule there is. That's insane.
Well, and the insane part is on top of him getting fired, that guy he tackled could have sued him too.
Right. Now, talk about rigged system, right? So, and you wonder why everything's going to hell. Like, because everything's gone to hell.
It has.
In the name of again, tell me
equality and justice.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I think if you're a criminal, you have no justice. You get justice, but you don't get to use the system against the good guys. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry. You bring it to a building, you fall off and crack your head. You shouldn't have broken the building. You don't get compensation for injuries when you broke into a building to the roof and fell on your head in the kitchen. Sorry.
There's this crazy story I read a while ago. This one man literally stood under a Walmart sign for 18 hours to have the sign fall and hit him in the head. That didn't
just waiting for it to fall.
And it was clear as day what he's trying to do.
Right. And he wants the lawsuit. Yeah.
And he won.
Dude, that's insane, right? So stuff like this should be like, if you just got to stop, playing with the crazies to stop the crazy.
But then here's the whole thing, because California in general, we're very liberal. How do you explain
that has to stop? That has to stop too, by the way.
Oh, seriously. It's crazy what they're doing. Because they say, well, you're LA County too, right?
Yep.
I would say we just now, like within the last 2 months, we're able to take off our masks. There was like practically complete lockdown for masks. And I'm going to work and they're like, oh, you have to wear it. And then the next day, okay, you don't have to wear them. What changed from yesterday to today?
Well, that's don't get me going with that stuff. I've never worn one, by the way. Never, ever, ever. I don't own one. I never have.
I just work because my work wouldn't let me work without it.
Oh, yeah. I'm lucky that I don't have to do this, but I didn't. I went to every store and had a bunch of, now people will say, if you believe in that shit, that I'm a pig. No, I'm a grown man who did his own research, and I understand the mask doesn't do shit. It's on the box, by the way.
It doesn't, yeah.
And you're not going to muzzle my face. I'm a free American, so I'll do what I want. You're scared, you stay home. Mm-hmm. You're in public, you have your mask on, leave me alone. And so anybody who came up to me, and think about how dare you, anybody come to a grown man to tell me I'm not wearing a mask. I know I'm not wearing a mask. I choose not to wear a mask. You're afraid? You stay the fuck home. I'm here.
There's this great thing called Grubhub and Instacart. You can get your groceries from that.
You stay the fuck home. I'm going to live my life. You buy into this 100 miles an hour? I don't. So about letting me be me. That's respect, right?
Right.
Oh, but they're trying to turn us against each other that way too, right?
And
so whatever. I'm not doing it. I never did it.
Well, and
I refuse.
The craziness is like, I'm not going to deny I got COVID in like December 2020. It was a pretty bad one. So I'm not denying COVID's not real kind of thing. It is. I had it kind of thing. But now it's that like, I got the really early version that was pretty fucked up and lethal. And I did fine kind of thing. I'm also really high immunity, so it's really hard to kill me.
Yep.
I said, that's right. I had you can see it. I have a bed right here. And like 10 feet that way is a restroom. When I had it, I literally walked like 10 feet. Like I was huffing, puffing like I ran a marathon. And that's where me being me, I'm like, I could see where people die from this. And as I'm trying to get to the shitter.
Sure.
But it's just one of those, I told him, I'm like, the reason I got it, it wasn't air. The people that came in refurbishing crew.
I
came in and they all clocked on the same clock as me. We all naively assumed they were clean. So we all clocked and never used hand sanitizer and shit. And we just went.
Yep.
And that's how we got it.
No,
it was not breathing it.
This is virus spread. Viruses are not in the air. They spread by contact, not in the air. And
it was just one of those that I told him, like, we're probably never going to get it again because like that situation will never happen again.
And to me, that's neither here or there. Like, it's just like, you be you and me be me. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So, that whole divide us again, getting everybody on two different sides fighting.
Well, and this is back to that extreme feminist lady. Near the end, I told her, I said, you do realize this whole thing's been rigged since the beginning, especially with the school districts, like school board. She said, what do you mean? I'm like, well, technically it was never a school board to begin with. And they actually taught the kids like really good stuff back then, like high functioning math at a young age that we're now starting to realize, oh, we should really push that.
We should go back to that shit.
Right. But I said, you know who formed the board? I said, I know who. I said, Rockefeller, Edison, Ford, and someone else. I forgot his name.
Don't get me going.
I said, you know, Rockefeller's, I said, I might be butchering it, but essentially Rockefeller said that it is united, we can't sell to them. Divided, we can sell to them.
Exactly.
And he formed the educational system. I said, did you know feminism wasn't really a thing until around the 20s and 30s when the Industrial Revolution was near the end? Mm-hmm. I said, and that's when he was planting the seeds then.
Well, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history on that if you read, but you have to be a reader.
And then they push for, if you read books, you're or whatever, so don't read books. which again is in our device, so you don't see what they're doing.
Of course.
And that's where she sat there like, well, I have to do the research. And the funny thing, she came back and she's like, oh my God. She emailed me this. Like, oh my God, you're right. I just typed in, did Rockefeller start feminism? And it came up. Yes, he did. I'm like, but you believed his plant so well, you took it as your own.
Yep. But we're not manipulated at all, right? Everything is for the good of us. Right.
I'm just curious. I was saying, you're saying don't get you started. What were you about the whole Rockefeller and Ford? You didn't want to get
no. I've researched the actual history of the world, right? Even before then, like from Europe, and with the stuff that's happening right now that's been going on since 800 BC. So the history of the world as we know it has been disguised and covered up, and so a lot of people, what history has been taught to us, or what's even available to find, has been edited.
Oh, 100%.
So I've managed to realizing we're being manipulated left and right. So what's the truth? So I ended up like researching from here backwards all the way to 800 BC, literally, to watch the global movement that was in place back then. And I don't want to say more than that, but I mean, let's just say that I the truth is out there if you're looking for it, not on your television.
No, it's not. No. It's not on your TV at all. They want you dumb and listening to them. And that was actually one thing. My high school buddy, we were hanging out, and he brought up something about medieval times, and I said, "You do realize," it said, actually, medieval times wasn't like the problem; it was the Dark Ages beforehand, and that's when the whole serf landmaster dynamic happened. Essentially, the king and the slaves.
Yep.
And the king really liked his power, so he did everything in his power to make his simple slaves realize, oh, even though we are many, we are nothing without him.
Yep.
I said, that was the original problem. Like, before the Dark Ages, we were hunter-gatherers. We loved each other equally. Everyone had a place. I said, actually, some of the old tribes are coming to find out women were queens of the civilizations, because I said, women naturally can handle complicated situations without hurting feelings. Us men go, meat, and go like break something. So the women were very delicate and handled the problems. Are you hearing about that? And he's like, no. I'm like, because they don't want you to know that.
Of course. It's unbelievable, really. Like, if you start digging a little bit, like, people have no idea. Right. Not only now, but throughout history and way back then. And this is they all connect, all the dots connect. And I'm not by nature a conspiracy guy. But if you start digging, I've never been that guy. But me, I'm just a researcher. So if something kind of strikes me funny, I go research it, and sure enough. So then I try to explain this to my friends, and they go, "Why do you care?" I'm like, "What do you mean I care? Everything around us is a product of this, back. When you understand how we got here, right?" Anyway, so but people just sort of, like I said, they let the TV tell them what's up, and why not, right? Because they have our best interest in mind.
Oh yeah.
Okay, whatever. You be you. Again, you're back to you be you, right?
And I'll be me.
I'll be me, and I'm not going to try to convince you anything, but go on with that. Yeah, have fun.
We'll see how well that ends.
We'll see at the end. Yeah.
And it's just one of those. So, again, me being an introvert, but like talking to people, my grandfather had a diabetic coma, self-induced, and took way too much insulin. And I walked in on him. That's not the bad part. So he's in the hospice, and I'm air quote too young to go see my grandfather. So I had to sit in a hospital for like 4 or 5 hours at like 8 or 9. I think it was 13. At 13, though, still, I didn't have a little phone or anything to keep me entertained. So I'd walk around. And I noticed this one old man literally strapped to the table, and another one. And I was like, oh, okay, weird. And just kept walking around. Finally, that old man strapped got out and tried to attack the man next door. Me being me, I just like, ooh, why'd that happen? So I go talk to the guy that he would try to attack, and like, hey, what happened? Why did he do that? And essentially, he pretty much confessed that he was a Nazi. And he's like, And he said, I actually shot one of his soldiers in front of him, and he remembered my face.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh, that's so cool. I said, okay. And he's like, do you have questions? I said, yes. He's like, okay, I'll only answer 3. Now it's a doll, like a genie. You only get 3 wishes.
Oh my God.
I said, okay, what did we get wrong about the war? And he said, it wasn't started for what you think it was. It wasn't for the Jews. Not one bit. That was just a distraction. And I was like, whoa. And then we were just like, there's whole different things. And then essentially he brings up this whole, the reason they were doing it is they were making a serum. They essentially make a human invincible for 5 hours.
Super soldiers, they call them.
Yeah, he called them the black soldiers. He's like, when they turned, friend and foe were all targets to kill.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. So my third question was, is this serum still around? He's like, oh, there's a lot of them and it's everywhere, but no one knows where it is. And I was like, as I'm like an adult thinking about it, I'm like, dude, that would definitely be worth starting a war over to get that serum.
Right. See that? How coincidental.
And that's right. And it was the second question is like, I know in Americans, we make it look like you're the villains, but in yours, make the Americans look like villain. What is the one thing that both just so happen to miss? And he's like, oh, there's at least 10 wars that can full on battles. No one has record. And they both unanimously just pulled the stuff away. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, there are like 10 battles that they don't exist.
Yeah, not for you to know.
And I just sat there and dumbfounded.
You might wake up, right? See the manipulation. Boy, we could do this all day long. You know that,
we could. I was saying, you got a client coming up.
I got a job. Yeah, I got a client coming up.
All right.
Good stuff. Interesting.
I was saying, you have my calendar link. You are always welcome on.
Yeah, no, it's, I say this, like this conversation with, could you go left and right? I have, if you talk about relationships in men and women and love dynamics, I could speak for 20 days straight, I think. So if you have
Careful, I might take you up on that.
If you know somebody who cancels real quick or you want some more, just, let's stay connected.
Definitely. Sounds good. Thank you, Andre. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Well, congratulations. You made it to the end. You're an awesome person. Not many make it here. So, being the awesome person that you are, can you do me one more awesome favor? Can you rate and review this on whatever podcast services you're using? If you do it on Apple and you leave an actual written review, I have a thing on my website. I will take your written review and post it for all to see. Congratulations, you're permanently sealed on my site. Otherwise, I am trying to do YouTube more and live streaming. I will try to put as many of the YouTube links in the description of the show as I can. So give your boy some extra help over on YouTube. Watch my videos. I just mute it and change the channel, change the window or something. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for being awesome and see you next time.